Hello. What up? Hello, boys. Hello. Welcome back to the stream, everybody. Oh, fuck! I didn't call my mom. That's what I was supposed to do before stream. I think calling her on stream is a worse move than not calling her at all. That's a worse move. Set an alarm for 1 hour from now. All right. I have an alarm set. I'm going to call her in 1 hour. Oh, it's a short-ass stream today. This is like the stream I did when I came back for Mr. Beasts, and we were talking about private jet. This is just a story time, and I'm out. It's a quickie McBricky today. Just pooping in. Well, I have a dinner tonight. I got a dinner, so we're going to dinner. So I can't go for too late, and I just got home from Las Vegas. I went to Las Vegas this weekend. Me and Cutie going to dinner. What's for dinner? I don't know. I'm not the one cooking, man. In other words, it's not worth watching a stream. Just watch the VOD. Ugh, it's Jonas. What are you doing here? Did I see Germa? Dude, I was tempted. So, okay, here's what happened. My friend from high school had a bachelor party. And I was invited to said bachelor party. And this is my first ever bachelor party ever. Which is kind of surprising. Because I'm 26, almost 27. So either my friends aren't getting married. Or I don't have that many friends. But this is my first ever bachelor party I went to. Why are you saying it weird? What am I saying weird? Erica? Gail? Am I still glued to my chair? No. Well, you didn't finish the video, I'm thinking. Make me a mod. JK. I mean, I was about to do it too. You fooled me. 5 months. Thank you. Pinky Ruth, 6 months. Loving the drip today. I stole this hat. I stole this hat. You know, people say, Ludwig, you're a millionaire, and I'm still out here stealing shit. But I thieved from the rich. I stole this from who's the British Minecraft kid who kind of looks like Sid from Toy Story? I'm sorry. I'd like to apologize in advance to Jack Manifold for saying that, but great, very funny guy. Very funny guy. Love me some Jack Manifold. Jack Manifold gave me this hat. And by gave me this hat, I mean I stole it from him and then made fun of him on stream. So, you know, shout out to Jack Manifold. You know what's fucked up? I even said I would give it back to him, and then I didn't. I just forgot. And now I like it, but I have to give it back, but I haven't yet. My girlfriend likes your hat. That's pretty dope, Michael. Bad son and bad friend. All right, did everybody call their mother today? +1 in chat if you did, if you were a good child during Mother's Day, unless you have a fractured relationship and or your mother is no longer with us. In which case, +2. Okay? I live with my mother. If you live with your mother, then all you have to do is like give her a hug and a card. You're supposed to do a card if you live with her. Call if you don't, card if you do. It's kind of the rule. There's a set system for these things. I got a tattoo on Mother's Day. I respect your bravery. I'm currently breaking a world record for your stream this week. This is freaking insanity. Cozy Gamer, Shaka, and Godspeed. Does anyone say you Shaka too much, Crazy Gamer? Unless you're from Hawaii, in which case you get the Shaka pass. If you're not from Hawaii, you can't Shaka more than once a month. That's a rule, just so you know. You can never Shaka too much. You can certainly Shaka too much. If you're from Montana and you're Shaka-ing and you don't know how to kickflip, you just don't have the pass. You're like, you have one a month and that's it. Hair reveal. I didn't do my hair today. I don't want to embarrass myself. You guys are going to make fun of me because my hair looks like shit because I didn't do it today. Fine. That's it. That's the hair. That's what it looks like, man. Don't say fuck that. What do you mean, extra? What the hell? I bought her a blender she's been wanting. Didn't know they could get that expensive, but it put a smile on her face, so worth. Dude, I remember when I was a kid one time, I went with my father. I was 9 years old, and I went with my father to the Pheasant Lane Mall in southern New Hampshire. Popular mall, tourist destination, because New Hampshire has no sales tax, and people from Massachusetts like to drive up because it's on the border of Tingsboro, Massachusetts, in Nashua, New Hampshire. So we go to the mall, and we're trying to find a gift for my mother for Mother's Day. And I'm a 9-year-old, so I don't know shit. And my dad's asking me, like, what do you think your mom wants? And I'm like, I don't know, Pops. And we're walking around, and my dad keeps pestering me. He's like, what do you want, Pops? He's like, what do you want to get your mom, kiddo? And I'm like, a toothbrush would be cool. How the shit do you know it's a toothbrush? Have I said this story before? Tate Anderson, were you there? On Scooby-Doo, were you there? What is this picture? What the hell is Daft tweeting out? Were you there, Tate? I've told this story. How the fuck? Tate, you watch too much of my content. Has anyone ever told you that? Do you know that there's fully produced TV shows on Netflix and Hulu? Did you know that? Tate, you good, man? It's dead ass. You can watch anime for free. Just look up any show and then stream, and it just pops up. I pay for it personally, but I've heard that's something you can do unethically. I don't do it because I support creators. Ruin the story for the rest of us. Well, anyway, the end of the story, to wrap it up quicker, because fucking Tate already knows all my goddamn stories, is we went to the mall, and I said an electric toothbrush. So my dad stupidly got my mom an electric toothbrush, and then for Mother's Day, my mom opened up a gift that was an electric toothbrush, and she was so fucking sad. And then I figured out that women do not appreciate electric toothbrushes as gifts. I got an electric toothbrush for Christmas. That's a different holiday. Doesn't count. That's a fire Christmas gift. It's not as thoughtful of a Mother's Day gift. Because a Mother's Day is all about being thoughtful. How much did the hat cost? I mean, I stole it, so. Not much. Not much. Pretty free all in all. Please watch the Sea Dog VA clip. That shit's funny as fuck. What Sea Dog? Oh, from his live stream with Chris Broad. I'm bummed I didn't get to watch it, but it seemed like it was kind of hype. I'll take a look at it. I do love my main man, Connor Dog voice actor.
It doesn't smell bad. It just smells like chart. You want to smell it?
No, I didn't trust
you. You were going to. You were going to. Just smell it. I'm not going to do that. I can't see.
What the fuck is that? What is that? What am I looking at? It is a tarantula. Is it dead ass a tarantula? Like, dude, is that... But this is not a Japanese thing, is it? This is like when you go to Arizona and you go to Old Town in Scottsdale and then they have like one store where they sell tarantulas that you can eat, but nobody actually does it. But it's just a novelty thing because maybe they did it 300 years ago when cowboys were there, and they probably have the same exact thing in Japan. Like, I don't think you're walking over. It was in a vending machine. Okay, that changes things a little bit. That's a little weirder. It does give off Scottsdale gift shop vibes, but if it's in a vending machine, that's kind of weird. You're telling me a Japanese guy walks up to the vending machine, throws in his yen, ding, 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 pops out some tarantulas, goes... like it's fucking chips. No shot. I don't buy it. Anyway, let's jump in. Also, I heard Japan is opening to people in June. Chat, what do you think about me going to Japan for a month and then IRL streaming? I think my only plan would be to just hop on a scooter and scoot around and eat. I have enough friends built in Japan who I've never met that I think would stream with me. Like Retro Gaijin, Trash Taste guys. Maybe I convince Chris Broad. Perhaps Dogan comes with me one time for the one. Unlikely, but possibly Rob gets involved. Who knows? Anyway, let's watch this.
Yeah, it does smell like charcoal.
All right, well, that's...
I mean,
legs falling
spiders
off.
are a lot less scary when they're dead. Quote me on that later.
Go on then, eat the
It's like
dead
the lava
spider.
or something, isn't it? So I just like take a bite.
Go on then.
Oh, it crunched way more than I thought. Why are you stepping back? Alright. Oh.
You're a brave man.
Oh.
You're a brave man.
Oh. Oh.
After the war, this is what we're going to be all eating, so you better learn to enjoy it.
Oh man, that's so gross. Oh. Oh. Oh, it's so crunchy.
Oh my god.
What's the flavour?
Oh.
Fuck off.
Oh my god, it's so gross.
Chris Broad has the empathy of a doorknob right here. Holy shit, that's gross. That's gross. All right. Well, hey, enough Japanese things aside. Let's talk about Vegas. All right, so I went to my first ever bachelor party for my friend Jake, who I've talked about on the Yard podcast before, who's getting married this year, which is crazy to me that people around me are getting married. But I am realizing that I am fucking old, and everybody's getting married these days. And Jake did the very conventional bachelor party location of good old Las Vegas, Nevada. Las Vegas, baby. It's not as, to me, Las Vegas is not like a tourist destination. I mean, it is. But I lived in Arizona and I lived in Los Angeles, which were both 4-hour drives or 1-hour flights away. I literally flew from Las Vegas to Los Angeles today. It was a 40-minute flight. So I've been to Vegas about like 10 to 20 times in my life, just driving from Arizona with friends or from LA. But all my Jake and all the other groomsmen were from New Hampshire. They're from New Hampshire, so it's like 6 hours. It's an experience to go to Las Vegas. You've never been, maybe you go once. It's a once every 5 to 10 years thing. So this is what we did. We went to Las Vegas. I did not lose my ID. All right, this is not like the old Las Vegas story where I lost my ID. I had my ID. And I came in. Now, look, I'm a bit of a busy beaver because I have to open up my daycare for you chuckle fucks a few times a week. So I ended up only going from Friday. No, excuse me. From what was my last stream? Was my last stream on Friday? It was, right, Chad? I streamed on Friday. So I went from Friday to Sunday morning. I basically went for 2 nights. Everybody else went there from Wednesday to Sunday night, but I was there for about half the time. Because, well, you guys, hello. It was fun hanging out on Friday. And so don't say Tate's already told the story, James. I've just experienced it. Nobody knows the story. Nobody knows the story because I just experienced it. So anyway, I'm going to Vegas for a bachelor party, first ever bachelor party. But there's one other crinkle in all of this. One other weird twist. Now, even with a lot of success I've had on YouTube, I only bring $1,000 to gamble. That's the maximum amount. And when I say gamble, I mean like blackjack or roulette. I'm not talking about like the poker things that I've done in the past. Specifically gambling, I only ever bring 1,000. And this is because when I used to go back like 5 years ago with slime, I only had 1,000. And I would like to bring my full $1,000 because it made the rush of gambling so much higher, knowing that I wouldn't be able to pay for rent if I lost. And I'll never really be able to achieve that again because if I do that now, then I won't be able to pay 15 employees out, which I'm not willing to risk. Unfortunately, I'm not willing to risk 15 employees pay for a little bit of a rush. But back in the day, that's what I used to do. That's what I used to, genuinely, I used to bring my $1,000 because it would make my pee-pee slightly more filled with blood if it was my last 1,000. This is true. This is not a good thing, by the way. I would not do this, but this is what I used to do. There's no spoilers. So anyway, things were different this time. Things were a little bit different this time because I didn't bring $1,000. It's what I normally bring. And you know what? It's actually a funny reason. The reason I bring $1,000 is because that's my credit limit. That's the most I can pull out of my bank account. You know what's funny? Chat, I have a credit limit of $1,000. That's all I can spend. That's it. Still. Yeah. Anyway, I had a little more than $1,000 this time because I didn't have to pull the money out. Because fortunately, I played a poker game and Alan Keating generously donated about $300,000 to me. And so I was up about $400K just a week ago. And 100,000 of those dollars were given to me in cash. Straight up. I had to walk around with $100,000, which was kind of stressful because I won so much in that poker game. That was real money. I don't know if you guys, maybe some of you are like still conspiracy theorists and drawing the lines and like, no, this is all fake and sponsored. That was real ass money. So I had 100,000 in cash. The rest was all luckily sent through a check, so I couldn't actually gamble it. But the 100K was real. How much of the 100K do you think I brought to Las Vegas? You guys have such little faith in me. No, I did not bring, I brought, well, I didn't, to be fair, I spent about $15,000. So I don't even have the full, before I even went to Vegas. So I can't even have brought it all. The moment I won, I went to my favorite restaurant and I tipped them $5,000, and then I went to the people who clean my house and I gave them $5,000, and then I gave Jake $5,000 for his wedding, and that's what I spent all my money on. But I brought the remaining. I brought about $50,000. I brought $50,000, which, can I say, by the way, I understand that is over a year's salary for a lot of people. That is a shit ton of money. I put it in my bag like I was a drug dealer, and I walked around the airport with a slightly elevated heart rate. I probably had a heart rate that was equivalent to you guys in chat as opposed to my normal athletic heart rate. If this makes you feel bad, don't worry, there's levels to this. Walking around Vegas, I felt like I didn't have enough money. But we'll get to that. We'll get to that. So I have $50,000. I got myself a hotel room. I got a flight on Southwest because it's very convenient and it's easy to board. The boarding process is much easier. And I made my way over to Vegas. And the moment I landed, I realized how ridiculous it was to have $50,000 in cash because I showed all the other groomsmen and they all laughed at me collectively. They just laughed at me. All right. But I had a plan. My plan was very simple. All right. I was going to spin the $50,000 up to $100,000 and then get matching watches for me, Atrioc, and all the other groomsmen at Atrioc's wedding ahead of time. That was my plan going in. Spin the money up and then get all the boys some nice fancy Rolexes or something. I don't know. I'm not a watch guy. But that was it. You know? And it was like, think about it. It's kind of free money if you make it in the casino. No, I didn't. I didn't lose all of it. We'll get there. So it's been a while since I've been in Vegas. I've not been in Las Vegas, I think, since 2020 New Year's. So it's been over 2 years. I was doing YouTube back then, but obviously it's a little bit different than now. And just to paint a little picture, the moment I landed, all of my friends, Jake and everybody, were Ubering to the casino that we were staying at. We were staying at the Venetian, which is like the Italian-based casino in Las Vegas. And they were Ubering to the casino, and I got there early. And so I sat down at a roulette table with this Italian guy. And in the 10 minutes it took for them to Uber over, I lost $3,000. So, it didn't start out great. But that's okay. That's okay because these things happen and things go down and things go up again. Things go down and that's okay because that's the circle of life. But what I started to notice is because I was gambling a lot of money, waitresses come up to me a lot and they were offering me free drinks. And every time they offered me a free drink, I said, hell yeah. Could I get a whiskey ginger? And they said, yes. And they got it to me within like 5 minutes. And I was like, that's cool. And that kept happening. Like a lot. It was dope. I got like 10 free drinks. That's like probably $200 of free drinks. But this weird thing kept happening where the more I was drinking, the more I was gambling. And so I started, I don't know if this was a conspiracy theory, to make worse and worse decisions. And I only had about a third of the total amount of money on me. But when I woke up in the morning and I counted all the dollar bills, throughout the evening, I had lost about $20,000. Okay. All right. Again, I would like to reiterate, I do understand these are huge swaths of money. The only reason I was able to compartmentalize and accept that this was okay is every time I would lose money, I would say out loud, thank you, Phil Hellmuth. That one's for Mr. Beast. Appreciate that, Alan Keating. And that's how it didn't feel bad. I would just say that. And then the dealer would be like, what the fuck are you talking about? But that was my strategy. Okay. But look, you got to lose money to win money, so they say. Anyway, Saturday starts. And this is the big day. This is the full day I'm there. Now, I went to bed at like 6 a.m. because I was degenerately gambling. But we had to wake up at 10:30 to go to a pool party. Because the only things you do in Las Vegas are go to shows, eat fancy food, gamble, go to beach club, or go to nightclub. That is it. If you have never been to Vegas, those are the only things to do in Las Vegas. There's nothing else. You can list things, but they will fit under these categories. All right? Strip club is just a nightclub. What beach? It's a pool club, more like. But the one we went to was at the Encore. And our main man, David Guetta, was performing at 11 a.m. And I've never really been to a pool party. I don't really leave my house that much. But I didn't want to miss it because we were doing the whole bachelor party thing. So we all got up at 10:30, and the first thing we did in the morning was we made a couple of sports bets because it makes sports games more exciting. So I bet on a horse. I bet on the Japanese horse, not because I'm a weeb, but because I thought that he had a good chance of winning in the Kentucky Derby. And I bet on the Celtics because I like the Celtics. And then we walked over to the beach club, to the pool club in the Encore, which is like a 15-minute walk. And like, just to paint a picture, it was about 8 of us, and we were all wearing shirts that said, I'm not the groom, but I'm a groom's man. Matching, all of us. And then except for Jake, who's wearing a shirt that's like, who's got 2 thumbs and's getting married? This guy. We were those people. Okay, that was us. I know, it's a bit cringe, okay? We were walking through in IRL getting Pepe pants. But this is American culture. Get used to it, baby. All right, soak it in. We're here for a bachelor party. You got to live it up once in a while. So we walk over, and they were telling me horror stories. Again, the only other times I've been to Vegas or any casino, I just gamble. That's all I enjoy doing. I enjoy gambling until the sun rises. I end up losing almost all my money. I get so incredibly sad that I call my girlfriends, and in the past, I have called my ex-girlfriends but when I was single because I was so sad. That is what I like to do. Okay? That's my thing. That's my thing. All right? Lose so much money, you think maybe one more shot. All right, baby? That's what I'm about. 7 people in chat know what I'm talking about. The rest of you, understandably, are judging me. Anyway, we go to the beach club, and they're telling me about how, oh, yeah, this is like the hottest pool club in all of Vegas. The line last time took an hour. We should have got here way earlier. Jeez Louise. David Guetta's gonna kill it. We pull up at 11:15. David Guetta was supposed to start at 11. The line is empty. It takes about 60 seconds to get in. We go into the actual club. There's a bunch of pools. Nobody's there at all. It's a ghost town. All the pools have 0 people in it. There is one dude on the dance floor who's doing this by himself. And I swear to God, 3 people film him, laugh, and walk away. He did that for an hour and a half by himself. And I was like, what the fuck? What's going on? Why is there nobody here? Now, they were getting drinks, and while they were getting drinks, I made my way over to a little food place, a grill. And here's the biggest thing you have to learn about Las Vegas. It is that it is based off of just tipping. Like, tipping culture gets you everywhere you want in Vegas, aka money gets you everywhere you want to go in Vegas. So I ordered a croissant, $16, by the way, for a bacon, egg, and cheese croissant. But I gave a $20 bill. And then the guy gave me back the change. I got the croissant. I gave him back the 4. The moment I gave him the 4, it was like a fucking GTA NPC. And it unlocked a new voice line. And the guy took my $4 and said, oh, by the way, if you ask for a cup with ice, you can fill it up in the bubbler. And then you won't have to pay for the water bottles. And I was like, okay, can I get a cup with ice? And he's like filling a cup with ice, and he's like, and then while he's doing it, he's like, oh, and I should mention, David Guetta's not getting here till 3:30. Good luck. And I unlocked a piece of information that we had not known going into this. Because when you looked at the website, when you buy the tickets online, it says David Guetta, 11 a.m. The actual time he was coming, 4.5 hours later. I immediately checked my phone. The UV index was a 7. A fucking 7. So I lathered myself in sunscreen. I wolfed down my croissant and I walked back to my group, where I was handed a drink that I promise you has killed men before. I was handed a container that was probably this large. This is a 32-ounce bottle. I was handed something this large. It was kind of like this Yeti container with a straw coming out. The contents of it were gin, vodka, and about maybe 2 squirts of soda water. It was a mega pint of alcohol. It tasted like pure alcohol. If you lit a lighter next to it, it would burst into flames. It was disgusting. It was undrinkable. I could not drink the beverage without gagging every single time. But here's the problem about being with a bunch of guys in Las Vegas at a bachelor party. They all throw out every single part of your brain that says, oh, maybe we shouldn't do this because it'll probably lead to bad repercussions later. And so I would be like, this is what I would do. And then I'd place it down. And then one of the guys, almost like a rotating group, would come to me with the drink that I put down on a table. And they said, hey, you put this down. Keep sipping. And I would go. And then someone else, hey, you put this down. Keep sipping. And I was like, what the fuck are we doing here? God damn, if we got served Kool-Aid by a cult leader, you guys would be telling me to sip it. I was getting mob mentality. I was like, fuck. They warned us when they gave us the drink that the drink was supposed to last you the entire day. That's how much alcohol was in this. It probably had, I would say, 12 to 15 shots of alcohol inside of it. I'm not making that number up. It was an insane amount of alcohol. So again, I'm sipping. Everybody else is going hard, okay? They went from here down to here. It's like me and my friend Zach who are like keeping it kind of like, man, we're up here-ish. And the only other piece of information that this will be important later is we put all of our things into a locker. And I buy the locker and I put the code 1337 LEET. That's our locker code. So we're out there for a while. We're in the sun. Again, we have to wait for 4 hours until David Guetta comes out. 4 fucking hours. So I start walking around. And I noticed that in this pool club with a bunch of pools, a bunch of tables, there's also a little cove in the shade with 2 televisions that have the sports game that I bet on, the Celtics game. But more importantly, a blackjack table. And I'm like, well, shit. I like that. So I get out of the water. By the way, this is a quick aside. I didn't actually bring bathing suits, so I was wearing cotton pants with underwear underneath. But then it did the thing that when you get out of the pool, it goes and it sucks like a shrink wrap. Like straight up. You guys know what I'm talking about. Yeah, it did the pee-pee thing. You know? And I was like, oh, fuck, it's doing the pee-pee thing. I hate when it does a peep. Anyway, so I go to sit down at a blackjack table. I like 2 hours pass by. I put in $1,000 and I walk away with $2,000. Like the time flashes before my eyes. And I'm like, oh, fuck, I still need to stall another 2 hours. So I walk around. I find a craps table. Now, if you never played craps, I think it's probably the most fun or the least fun you will have gambling in Las Vegas. I love craps, but sometimes it sucks. I was sitting next to 2 guys from Liverpool, and I was teaching them how to play while watching the Celtics game. And I end up turning that $2,000 to $5,000. Things are going quite well for me. I only have one major problem throughout all of this, though. My biggest problem is that I have a giant 32-ounce container of alcohol that is down to about here, and the peer pressure group of gentlemen keep coming up to me, telling me that it has to go down further. Just to paint a picture of how drunk this alcohol got some of the guys, one of the guys who we were with threw up in the pool and got kicked out before anyone was even there. It was so obvious he was drunk because nobody was even there. David Guetta wasn't even out, and he was like by himself in a pool, and he threw up in it. And they were like, okay, well, you got to go. But that also created a window of opportunity. Because I went with Jake to our locker, and this is where I you know what? I was a bad friend. I went with Jake, and I had been gambling with Jake. And Jake spun it up from $100 to $800. And me and Jake went to the locker because we had to get some of our things out because the guy got kicked out. And when we walked over to the locker, Jake spilled his drink, slow motion, and maybe a third of it poured out. And he's like, oh no, that was like $40 of alcohol because the drinks are really expensive. And I was like, oh, dude, no, that sucks. Let me just fill it up a bit for mine. And he hesitates for a moment, and he has like two parts of his brain. One that wants to bully me into drinking, and the other that wants to drink himself. And he's like, oh, okay. And I go, here you go. I re-up. I am left with maybe this much. Jake has a brand new container. This starts the beginning of the end for Jake's day and evening. We had an entire day planned where we were going to go to the beach club. We were going to go to a dinner. We were going to go to Hakkasan, a popular club, and we even bought a table for. I go back to gamble a little more, and I watched the end of the Celtics game. If you didn't see it, it ended in absolute tragedy where Al Horford tipped the ball in, but the buzzer hit as he was tipping it in. The ball fell in. The Celtics ended up losing by 2 points, which was a push on the line. All of this is irrelevant, but I'm giving you some context. Jake walks over to me like this. How much money am I up, dude? How much money am I up? And I'm like, you're up 700. So he's like, I got $700. I'm like, no, you have 800. He's like, I'm up $800. And he's like, dude, give me some money to gamble with. And in this spot, he bought in with 100. He ran it up to $800. He wants some money to gamble with. I'm like, no, Jake, you shouldn't. You shouldn't. But he keeps pushing me. And the problem with Jake is when he wants it, he wants it. So I give him like a couple hundred to play with. 5 minutes later, he comes right back. He's like, bro, like, can you give me some money to gamble with? I'm like, Jake, what happened? He's like, well, I lost the money, but I need to win it back. It's so I do this to him. I go, buddy, that was all of it. He's like, oh, we tried. While I secretly had like another like 400 of his dollars in my wallet. And he got all bummed. Then he walked back to the pool and he got in the pool. And then, you know, the 4 hours finally passed. I had been there for 4 hours. And David Guetta comes on. Finally. David Guetta comes on at like 4 p.m. And I go outside. And the moment I go outside, this might be a pussy thing, but if I feel like I'm about to sunburn, I don't want to be outside. Like if I feel like I have had too much UV radiation, I don't like the sun. I don't enjoy it. It feels hotter. So the moment David Guetta came out, the first song he played Bulletproof, Nothing to Lose. I go to my friend Eric and Zach, who are the only ones that are kind of sober, and I'm like, yo, anyone want to go? And they're both like, yeah, we're down. And we leave. We leave. Or at least we try to. I thought this was kind of funny. The three of us were trying to leave, but the only problem was the other 5 guys were so drunk that when we told them, hey, we're going to leave, the locker code with all your phones and wallets is 1337, they couldn't repeat the 4 numbers back. They couldn't do it. And we were like, oh, fuck. That's tough. You can't leave 5 drunk guys who won't be able to figure out how to get their phones and wallet alone in Las Vegas. So Ludwig 7's for Zach. He stays behind. Absolute trooper. Just so he can put in 1337 and then me and Eric take our leave. Absolute Chad. So we go back. We go to the hotel room. And I get a call about an hour later after making it back, and it's Zach. And he's not very happy. And this is where a division forms. This is where a rift in the group forms. The group of 8 gets split into 2 groups of 4. The sober Samuels and the drunk Daryls. Because Zach is babysitting, basically, trying to get these people. But if you've ever babysit really drunk people, they don't realize they're really drunk. And so Zach's like trying to get all these people to go back, and they're like, no, I don't want to do it. It sucks. It just sucks. He eventually gets them all home. I get a few calls from Jake. They all pass out. I think I have a funny video of Jake absolutely shit-faced. It's in like 240p. This is him. He fell asleep with his phone in hand. Big thighs. I mean, you gotta love it, though. Come on, it's his bachelor party. He's allowed to get drunk. But they all fall asleep. We have an entire night planned, and they are out cold. And it is just us 4 sober Samuels left to hang out. So it's me, Artie, Zach, and Eric. And this is where the night gets interesting. Everything up to this was a bit of precursor, but this is where the night gets interesting. So I still have about like $30,000 of my dollars. It's about 6 p.m. I did a quick business meeting, by the way, for a super cool event I want to do for Super Smash Brothers in Las Vegas. I don't want to leak too much of this, but it was very dope. I even called Phil Hellmuth because Phil Hellmuth was in town. I chatted with Phil Hellmuth a bit. Even Alan Keating and I, we chatted a little bit because he was also in town. So cool things. No more leaks. Excuse me, I'm done leaking. And also, this is a weird thing. Why the fuck does the guy from Cake Boss own Las Vegas? The guy from Cake Boss has his own restaurant. He has his own Cake Boss store. He has his own cake pizza store, which I didn't even know what that was. Yeah, Buddy V. He's got like 4 different locations in Vegas. What is a cake pizza store? Anyway, we were curious, so we went to eat at Buddy V's restaurant. You know what? I'm going to make a hot take right here. I have moved on from Italian food. I am no longer interested in eating Italian food at an American Italian restaurant. I think Italian food is mid. It is carbo loaded. The portions are way too high, so it's like incredibly difficult to finish unless you want to feel like a bloated seal. And it's like the same fucking 5 items. It's lasagna. It's like chicken parm. It's spaghetti with meatballs, red sauce, or penne alla vodka, or shrimp scampi. It's like the same fucking 5 things, and they're all like okay. And when I go to Italian places nowadays, I order 2 appetizers because I hate leaving a full plate or any food left. And they give me a goddamn pile of pasta this high. And they say it's Italian. It's not fucking Italian at all. You go to Italy, they give you a normal human-sized portion. Anyway, quick aside. I've moved on from Italian food. I think Italian food, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's just a waste of food. It's because you're not in New Jersey. Don't say New Jersey or New York like they should be in the same sentence. Like that's not good. That's not like they're not the same. One is very clearly different from the other, right? It's one of the happiest countries on earth, like Norway or America. Like there's an outlier here. They're not the same. Anyway, while we're there, we decide to go to a drag show. We go to a drag show, which I have never been to before. But RuPaul has a live drag show in Las Vegas. And the only other thing we could go to be able to make it to our table at the nightclub at Hakkasan was a Cirque du Soleil show. But I've already been a Cirque du Soleil a bunch. And I was like, oh, a drag show would be fun. A drag show would be fun. Now, I will admit I was very anxious going into a drag show. Because I don't know. I was scared that I'd go into the drag show and they'd be like, get out of here, straighties. And I had never seen RuPaul before. So I was a little bit nervous. Going in. So, you know, I drank a little bit. I loosened myself up. But what I didn't realize is that RuPaul's Drag Live at the Flamingo is a very popular show. And we were getting our tickets very last minute. So I ended up sitting at a table with 4 other people who I didn't know at all. Like, I kind of thought we were all going to be sitting together, but I was sitting by myself with, like, a gay couple and then another gay couple, and then just me, the straighty. And I was like, oh, I don't know. By the way, this kind of surprised me. First thing when I walked in, someone recognized me. So you know what? That was kind of cool. That was the most hype time someone's ever recognized me ever. No way. Exactly. You know what I mean? What'd you expect? What I expect is that if I walk into a GameStop, I will be a fucking celebrity. But if I walk into like a Gucci store or anything where there isn't a 75% straight white male distribution, that I will not be as hot of a commodity. That's kind of what I'm expecting. So it's cool when I'm recognized in places that are more diverse. It was hosted by Ginger Minj. You know what I'll say? First of all, the show was phenomenal. Like the sets were insane in the set turnaround, in costume turnaround. My high school theater brain was like, that was impressive. How the fuck did they turn that set around that quick? They did that suit change that quick? Goddamn. I remember taking off a button-down shirt and it took me 90 seconds. But the worst part that came out of it, and this is Chad, I guess I should give you a little bit of context. Vegas is an area where people are known perhaps to occasionally partake in a bit of drugs. Drugs are done. I'm not a drug guy. I don't condone drugs. That's Aiden. He does. But, you know, I had partaken in the weed. I'd smoked a little bit of a doobie. I huffed a little devil's lettuce. I'm not happy that this entered my body. And if I lose a few of you as fans today, I understand. Okay, don't say Lamau drugs like weed's lame. Okay, what do you want me to say? We took MDMA. We were on Ket. We took ketamine to go to a drag show. It's the ketamine drag show. What do you fucking think? I'm going to do Ket and go to a drag show after not wanting to drink vodka and gin at the same time? What do you think? I smoked a pot cigarette. But the problem with smoking a pot cigarette is you become a little more anxious and you become a little more self-aware and you become a little more self-conscious. So when I'm the only straight guy sitting at a table with gay couples at a drag show, I was like even more paranoid. And Ginger Minge, who was the host of this drag show, was a god at crowd work and would specifically call people out, had people come on a stage. And the whole time I was like, oh, please don't be me. Please don't be me. And there's even certain, this is embarrassing. There were certain points where they were like, if you're here with your partner, everybody clap, and everyone would clap. And then they were like, if you're here and you're gay and single, everybody clap, and everyone clapped. And it was like, and I was like, yeah, yeah. And then Ginger was like, if you're here and you're straight, clap. And nobody clapped, so I didn't want to clap. Because I thought it'd be weird if I was at like a drag show and I was like, yeah! Wow! Boobies. I thought that'd be weird, so I didn't clap. But the problem with not clapping is it made everybody at the table with me think I was gay, which isn't that big of a deal, by the way. I'm okay with them thinking that. But so the way it worked is there was two booths that were U-shaped. So it was like this and like this. And I was sitting here and my friend Artie was sitting here and there was a divider between us. And he did the same thing I did because we both smoked weed and we were both self-conscious. And when he sat down and we sat down together, his booth wasn't fully filled out. And there was like these two guys sitting across from him. Or no, excuse me, these two older women. And they were like, oh, you're going to love who you're sitting next to. And then the other person goes, or maybe you're going to hate it. And my friend Artie was like high and self-conscious. And he's like, cool. And then walk in two young women, like 20-year-old women. And then they sit down and he doesn't clap at the part where they're like, clap if you're straight. And they're like, oh, so you hate this. Like implying like, oh, you hate sitting next to women because you're gay and you'd love to sit next to a man because a man would make you so fucking rock hard because you're so gay. And that, I mean, that's just like, whatever. It's a fine interaction, but that was I mean, that's the vibe. That's the tone set. That's the tone set. Dude, the guy behind me kept chirping too, because if you've never seen RuPaul's drag show, it's basically 5 people who are doing drag, 4 of whom are men, and I think one of whom was trans. They're the only one I can remember my favorite drag queen, so hot, was Naomi Smalls. Naomi Smalls, godlike. Like 8 mile long legs. Naomi, if you guys know RuPaul's, I stand Naomi Smalls. Everyone else, you can throw them out. Not as big of a fan. But anyway, I mean, you guys, I mean, you can say sus, but then you see Naomi Smalls and all of a sudden you stop chirping, okay? But they have this thing, just to give some context, in RuPaul's drag show where they have this thing called Pit Crew. And they go, oh, Pit Crew. And then 5 dudes walk out who are all just fucking ripped dudes. 5 Sony D's walk out. 5 Channing Tatums roll out. And every time they roll out, the guy who's sitting right next to me was like obsessed with this one guy he was like, yeah, number 17, because they had like numbers because they had jerseys. Number 17. It's like barking. So I didn't want to be the odd one out, so I was getting involved too. But I didn't want to pick the same number as him because I thought that'd be too obvious. So I just picked a different. This is so fucking cringe. This is what I was going through in my head. I was like, I gotta pick someone different each year for. because I thought I should cheer for someone. I thought it'd be, it's like if people are doing chants next to you and you're not doing the chants, because everyone was chanting. And I didn't want to be like shitting on the parade. So I was cheering. Yes, I was cheering for other, because then, I was cheering for other people. I was being like, 30, 17 sucks. Let's go 30. And that's, anyway, the biggest takeaway I have from this show is I am now incredibly self-conscious about going to Mogul Money Live. I don't think I can handle it, boys. That drag show, it was about 2.5 hours. Ginger Minge was a phenomenal host with great crowd work. And I'm like, I don't think I could do that. I don't think I could handle 3,000 Ludbuds in an arena chirping at me and making sure they pipe down, but also are engaged in the content. It's like a totally different skill than the skill of being able to entertain 10, 20,000 people live. Because I'm at my computer and I can call out a couple chat messages and I can just riff by myself. But there's an energy that you have to form in a building when you are hosting with people live in front of you. Because you have to make, like, inherently cringe parts of the show, like, corny-ass parts, feel more natural and authentic. And you have to involve people in the crowd without making it feel uncomfortable or awkward. So I walked out of that show with the new level of respect, one, for RuPaul's Drag Race, and specifically Ginger Minge, but two, a stress about the live show. It actually motivated me to go to more live shows. I kind of want to go to some stand-up shows in LA just because that's I don't know. That's the only way I've ever improved at things. Like, I've only ever improved at streaming by watching streams and then doing streams. So I'm going to try to improve at live shows by just watching as many live shows as I can. Because I don't know. I just want to put on a good show. I don't want to, like, waste people's money if they spend their time and money to come out. So anyway, watched RuPaul's drag show. I actually think the show is kind of mid. This is another hot take. I think the content of the show is kind of, it's kind of stagnant, is what I should say. Because the main part of the show is the lip sync battle. And I feel like the lip sync, if you have never seen RuPaul's drag show, basically they do drag. And the main content is they just do drag and then they lip sync. Which, like, we would roast. You know how that there was that old show on NBC that was hosted by the guy from The Office? He, like, produced it. And it was, like, lip sync off. You know that fucking cringy ass show? Like, everybody could point at that and be like, that was cringe. And obviously this is cooler because it's drag. And they have cool outfits. But I don't know. I just feel like lip sync in general is... I have moved on from it. I feel like lip syncing is... They've been doing it for 10 years where they still lip sync. And they have like 8 syndications and they lip sync in every single one. So I don't know. I feel like they could mix it up a bit. Anyway, this is a quick aside. Not to say that the drag wasn't impressive. It was still very cool. And it was still fun. The live show was great. This is where we get crazy with the money. We go back to the casino. At this point of the evening, we're supposed to go to the club, Hakkasan. All the guys who got drunk from the pool, the 4 other guys, they are so drunk that they are all sleeping. They cannot go to the club. We just lose out on our deposit for the club. We don't go to the table. And instead what we do is the most dangerous thing. We gamble. Now, here's how it works when I go to Vegas and I gamble. I gamble money, I lose at the start, and then I spend the rest of the trip trying to make back the money I originally lost. The most dangerous thing you can ever do in Vegas is chase losses. The most fun I ever have in Vegas is chasing losses. So it's a pretty bad combination that I succumb to. Immediately, I sit down. I have about $30,000 total at a blackjack table. But I start to notice things. Like, for example, the blackjack table we were sitting at had 6 to 5 odds if you hit a blackjack. If you get an ace and a 10, you get 6 to 5 payout. But I remember other tables being 3 to 2. I was like, that's weird. Also, the tables, rather than having like 6 decks of cards or maybe even 2 decks of cards have an automatic shuffler where you put the cards into this machine and they constantly shuffle the cards so that you can never get a true knowledge of what cards have been shown and what cards haven't been shown. I'm like, that's kind of weird. And the side bets, because oftentimes their side bets are worse value too. I'm like, huh. And after betting on that table, a couple $100 here, a couple $100 there, the dealer finally leans over to me. Because I like tipping with the dealer and then hanging out with the dealer and I have to call my mom in an hour. I like doing that. The dealer leans over to me and he basically tells me, he's like, yo, if you have this much money that you're playing with, you should go to the high roller room because it is better odds. I'm like, what? And they're like, yeah, there are worse odds in Las Vegas for people with less money. They rig the games so that you are more likely to lose if you have less money. And if you have more money, you are more likely to win. The system is inherently built so the rich get richer. And I was like, are you sure? And he's like, yeah. Go to the roulette table, you'll see. Now, you guys might have heard of roulette. You probably know even that there are 2 types of roulette. Single zero roulette, which is not very popular. It's more European. And double zero roulette. Now, it's important how many zeros there are because it reduces the chance of it being 50-50. Because it's, there's red and there's black, but the zeros make it so that it's never 50-50. And the more zeros, the less chance you have of hitting red or black. They have 000 in Las Vegas now. Only on the main floor at the lowest buy-ins. 3 zeros. Just taking an extra 2% for the casino. Already making tens of millions of dollars in an hour. They're taking another additional couple percent from just the people at the lowest level of play. I have never seen 000 roulette in my life before. It blew my mind. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll show you right here. So this is a normal roulette board. As you can see, you are mixed between red and black. There are 34 numbers total, 17 reds and 17 black. So if there was only these and you bet on red, there'd be a 50% chance of red and a 50% chance of black. Some tables have 1-0. Some tables have 2-0. But now they have tables with 3 zeros. Meaning it's now a 17 out of 37 chance. What's the math? We can do the math right here. 17 divided by 37. So your chance of hitting is 46%. As opposed to, it's out of 30. I did the math wrong. It's 18 out of 39. 46% though. 46% chance. It used to be 18 divided by 38. 47. They just took a percentage. They just took it. But what I didn't know, and I never knew this until I went to Vegas this time, is if you have a lot of money and you go to the high roller room, the high roller room isn't just so you can bet a higher amount. They treat you better. Like, yeah, I always knew that it would be better service and that they would give you better drinks and they would give you it faster. But they also give you better odds. So when I went into the high roller room, because he told me to go there, I went with my friends and they just watched me. They have 3 to 2 payout for blackjack. So it pays out better. They had 2 deck blackjack, meaning there are only 104 cards, meaning it is super easy to count. Now, I don't know how to count, but if I did, I could count and make a lot more money. So I sit down at that blackjack table and I'm playing for a while and I end up losing money and gaining money. After about an hour, I have $20,000. And my friends, we like again, I have compartmentalized all of this money. All of this money is fake money to me. This is a thing that gamblers do, and it's and actually a really unhealthy addiction problem where you pretend the money is different. You're like, oh, this is not normal money. This is this money, which is okay to lose. And so the whole time I was there, I was like, oh no, these are Monopoly dollars that I got from Phil Hellmuth and Alan Keating. It's okay if I lose these dollars because they're not real dollars. These aren't real dollars. The real dollars are the dollars I have at home. And I know I compartmentalize because I was I had a $100 bill that I brought on my Vespa and I put it in my pocket because I wanted to go get food and gas. And it flew out of my pocket and it ruined the rest of my day. You might be saying I'm being dramatic here, but I genuinely was sad the rest of the day because my $100 flew out of my pocket and I had to go back home to get more money. And I was sad because it flew out when I was riding around. But I lost $20K and I was like, so I have $20,000 left for my original $50,000. And I make my way out of the high roller room because we want to just play and drink and hang out and have a good time. And if you guys have never been to Vegas, I'm going to give you a tip right now. If you want to make a lot of money in a short amount of time, but you don't mind getting really, really upset, you play blackjack. If you want to make a lot of money, but you don't mind losing it and you don't want to think, you play roulette. If you don't care about making money, but you want to have a good time and get free drinks because you're gambling, you play Pai Gow. Pai Gow is a game where you have two hands, a high hand and a low hand, and you have to win both to win money or lose both to lose money. So you get two hands basically. It's kind of like poker and you get two hands. Most of the time you just end up pushing. You go even. Nothing happens. You can sit there for an hour and lose $0 and gain $0. That's just how Pai Gow works. So that's where we go. So it's me, my three other friends, and we are alone at a table and we're playing for a while. And then this guy comes to sit down. And I notice he has like a shit ton of money. And he's playing with like maybe $50. But he has like $2,000 behind. And he's playing really slow. And we're all kind of having a good time. We're shooting the shit with the dealer. And because Pai Gow is a very, it's a big communication game. You literally are given 7 cards and then you look at them. You're allowed to touch them and you show them to the dealer. It's a lot of talking. But the guy looks over at me. And he's like, You're Ludwig, right? And I'm like, yeah. Yeah. He's like, oh shit, dude. I saw your poker stream the other day. That was a sick stream. I was like, oh, thanks, man. Appreciate that. Random as hell. Ludbud in the wild. I don't even think he was a consistent Ludwig viewer, but he'd seen the poker stream because the poker stream did very well. And we start shooting the shit. And the guy starts to say a little more about himself. He's like, yeah, I'm actually like a voice actor in LA. And I'm like, that's cool. Is that where you get all the money from? Because I'm a little bit drunk. I'm asking personal questions. He's like, oh, no. That's because I'm a sports gambler in Vegas. I'm like, what? What do you mean? He's like, oh, yeah, no, that's what I do on the side is I do sport. I do both. And I live in LA and then I fly out to Vegas and I do sports bets. And at first, part of my brain, I'm a very cynical person. So I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, this is like a guy who's kind of like, everybody kind of big dicks himself, Everybody kind of likes to build up who they are a bit and be like, oh, I'm cool. I do this, I do that. I make money here, I make money there. Because he was saying things that were like, it felt unreal. He was like, yeah, I made so much money, I got banned from like MGM. I'm not even allowed in anymore because I made too much money. They don't let me sports gamble there. I'm like, I don't know. That's kind of crazy. It's kind of weird. But I'm still not buying it. I'm like, this guy's full of shit. And he and my friend are talking about bets they made, whatever. And finally, he goes to me. He's like, Ludwig, how much money have you lost or made on this trip? Average question. Sheepishly, I reply, well, I walked in with $50K because I won the poker event. He's like, oh, yeah, I remember that. He's like, and I'm down. I've lost about 30,000. Without missing a beat, he says, oh, okay, have they comped you a bit for that? I was like, what do you mean? He's like, well, yeah, I mean, if you spend a lot of money, usually you get like a little rake back. I was like, what? He's like, wait, you don't know what I'm talking about? Who's your host? I'm like, what the fuck is a host? What are you saying to me? And he starts to explain this deep underbelly that I have never known that exists in Las Vegas. And it's all revolving around hosts. You know how I was telling you that the rich get richer and they get better tables? That's not where it ends. In Las Vegas, every single casino hires several hosts. These people work directly for the casino. So he makes a call. He's like, yeah, give me a second. He calls this guy. He's like, yo, Joel, come down here. I need you to meet someone. 5 minutes later, I shit you not, this nervous-seeming man comes down. He kind of looks like the guy with the stapler from Office Space. And he's like, hello, sir. Very mild-mannered. And the guy I met, the voice actor's like, yeah, anyway, Joel, like this guy, can you explain to him what a host is? And I discovered that if you spend a lot of money in Las Vegas, you can get a host who will give you a free flight, a free hotel room, a free limo ride to and from the airport, free food, free shows. He told me privately that he was being given $10,000 by the casino to gamble with. And that if he lost more, they would give him some money back. They give money back. And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, yeah, well, if I lose like a lot of money and they see it on my card, they'll give me like, maybe like 20% back or something like that to gamble with a little more. And basically everything they do is to, one, keep you coming back to Las Vegas to their casino, and two, keep you there as long as possible. Make sure you are happy even if you are losing money. But if you're smart about it, you can not only take advantage of all those services, but you can also make money by gambling with like your free money or playing a little bit smart, not getting too drunk. I never fucking knew about this. I bought my own hotel room on getaroom.com. I bought my flight on Southwest. And I lost $30,000 by just gambling at tables with terrible odds because I didn't know. So I asked Joel, I say, hey, can you give me money back? And he says, no, you already spent it. I don't need to. I was like, okay, yeah, fair enough. He's like, I can give you a ride to the airport. And I was like, okay, cool, fair enough. Yeah, that's great. I would love a ride to the airport. Ubers are quite expensive these days. Yeah, he rolls me. Joel's kind of funny. Joel leaves. I find out about this whole host service. And the guy I met very kindly connects me with his host. He has a host in every casino on the Strip. So the guy comes to Las Vegas for like 2 weeks. And he will get like $5,000 from every casino. And he will stay at one of the casinos he wants to. He got a free room at Caesar's Palace, the room where they filmed The Hangover. It's 3,300 square feet. It's bigger than my house. Now, all of this is being told to me, but I'm thinking to myself, like I still don't think this guy is like a good gambler. like, you can't be a good gambler, right? You either like take the inherent risk losing and occasionally win or occasionally lose. You can't be good at gambling. You can just be lucky and play somewhat smart, but you always are going to be losing. And so that's what I kind of conveyed at the table. We're playing at the Pai Gow table still. He's like, you're wrong. How much money do you have left? I'm like, oh, 20K. He's like, come with me. We go back to the high roller room. Me, him, and all my other friends watching. And we sit down at a table, and I proceed to act like a sim for the next 2 hours. And he tells me everything to do. I know how to play blackjack. I know when to hit. I know when to stand. I know when to surrender. I know it. Sometimes I play a little dumb, but I know all of it. But I was listening to not only when to stay and when to hit, I was also listening to how much to bet. He was in my ear. So he'd be like, bet 500. I'd be like, yes, sir. Bet 1,500 this hand. Yes, sir. Bet 2,000 this hand. Yes, sir. And I did it for every single hand. Is this allowed? No. Several times they said only one person per hand. But when you're in the high roller room, if you're not winning too much money, then they don't stop you. And every time, he was actually kind of sneaky about it. Because every time they would start to suss him out, he'd be like, I'm drunk. Can I get another drink? And he would do that as like plausible deniability of counting. Implying that he was drinking, getting drunk, having fun, not counting. Secretly, he was counting the entire time. So we're going through, and I have 20,000, and it's like, you know, we go up like 1,000. We go up 2,000. 3, 4, 5,000. Eventually, we get into one of the craziest hands. I have an 11, 8, 3, and the dealer has a 9. I have $10,000 on the bet. $10,000. I do not have enough money to double. If you don't know, there's a rule that you can double down any hand. But you can only do it once, and you have to put as much money as you bet to do the double. That's where the double comes from. But I specifically left $5,000 in my room in my hotel so I wouldn't gamble it. So I'd at least walk away home with something. I asked the floor, right, the people there, I'm like, hey, can I go to my room to get my money? And she's like, no, sir, you may not because there is another man at the table. And this was the most alpha thing I've ever seen. It was his father who I had taken a picture with because he said his kid might have watched me because his kid played that game or whatever that starts with League on the computers. 0% chance his kid knows me. He plays League of Legends. But if Jason, if your son is watching, how's it going? If your father's name is Jason, your father was very nice. Giga Chad, he picks up his chips and he goes, I'm not playing. So what are we worried about? And the floor just sits there dumbfounded. And my friend runs upstairs because I'm not allowed to leave my seat and runs downstairs with my $5,000. I have $20,000 in on the hand. If I win this, I have an opportunity to be at $40,000. If I lose this, I will be at $0. The voice actor the entire time was coaxing me. He was like, don't worry, man. This is going to be good. I know it. The count's great, allegedly. He runs downstairs, gets a $5,000. We count it out. We put it down. The dealer flips over a 4, 13, and then a 6, 19. Now, here's the thing. When I double down, I ask for the card face down. It's a really stressful thing that you can do, but it basically means you do not know what your hand is. It means I have an 11, and then I have a card that I do not know. The dealer had a 19, which means I can only win with a 9 or a 10. I wish we filmed this. But the dealer slowly flips over. Bang! Jack! Everybody collectively loses their shit. I sprint out of the casino. I run around and I come back in. I got in trouble because they couldn't finish the hand because I wasn't at the table. $40,000 hand. Immediately, my mind is on cloud nine. My endorphins are racing. I am pogging out of my mind. Jason and I are high-fiving. Me and the dealer are losing it. I tip the dealer like I'm goddamn Mr. Beast. And I think to myself, I'm only 10K away from going even, baby. I'm going to make all my money back and then some. The voiceover guy's like, yeah, listen to me. We can make it up real quick. And I say, no, listen to me, buddy. We're going to win this real quick. And I bet $10,000 on 2 hands at once because you can play multi-hands. And I get fucking 10, 10, 8, 7, 18 and a 7. Fucking great hands. Dealer flips at 20. I instantly lose. I'm like, whatever. Don't worry about this. I got it. I put $20,000 in one hand. Dealer flips a blackjack. And I lost $40,000 in 2 hands. I went from top of the world to $0 in 2 hands. Technically 3. The voice actor guy just starts laughing at me. He's like, bro, you're crazy, but that was the dumbest thing I've ever seen. I search my wallet for money. I open it up like a cartoon wallet goes like Atrioc when he tries coming. That's a little inappropriate. I'm checking all my pockets. I'm like, do I have anything left? Where the fuck is my money? And I feel in my breast pocket a little crinkle of paper. I pop off. I pull it out. Inside the paper was a sports bet I made that I forgot about. It wasn't cash. But you see, I'd been betting on sports games the entire night. And my roommate from college, Josh, messaged me that I should take the Warriors against the Grizz. Was it the Grizz? No. Who were the Warriors playing? The Grizzlies, right? I should take the Warriors against the Grizzlies. It's a guaranteed win. And I put $2,000 on. And I didn't even realize, but I won. I had $4,000. Now, the way it works in the casino is the sports betting is actually separate from the casino itself. They rent out the area to do sports betting. It's William Hill sports betting. It's separate from the Venetian. They pay $2 million a month just to rent that space out. They make about like fucking $1 million a day, so it works out for them. But it was closed at the time. And I'm like, huh. The sports guy sees it and he goes, oh, dude. There's a really easy bet you can make if you want a quick $2,000 more. There's a tennis game happening later today. You should take Alcaraz. There's a 100% chance he wins. And he deadass says to me, bro, you got to take Alcaraz versus Zverev. And I said, is this a fucking WoW expansion? What are you talking about? He's like, dude, just listen to me. It's a free 2,000. I'm like, okay. So I give him the slip, and he makes the bet. Now, the game happened at like 9 a.m. I went to bed at 6 a.m. I woke up at 11. When I woke up to a text, and he said, congratulations, man, you got 6K more, or you got 6K now. So the 2,000 turned to 4,000 because the Warriors game, and then 6,000 because the tennis game. And again, this whole time I was a little bit wary of the guy, you know? That's why I went on my own and I bet the $40,000 because I was like, gambling's gambling. You can't do anything. You don't have any skill. It's all luck. But when he won me the tennis match, I was like, maybe this guy's on a something. Maybe this guy's figured a little something out. But I had to leave Las Vegas to come here. I had my flight scheduled. And right before I left, I give the guy my $6,000. Because he said to me, I can double this by the end of the day. So I gave a random stranger that I met the night before who recognized me from a poker match $6,000 with zero confirmation or contracts or anything because he told me he could maybe double it. It sounds kind of dumb. The first bet he made was on a baseball game. He bet that there would be a run in the first batter, or excuse me, he bet there would be a run on the first inning of a Braves game. Crazy shit. And I just get a text while I'm in the line at the airport, and he's like, "You're up $1,000." I'm like, "Cool. That's random." 7,000. He messages me a screenshot, and he's like, "Yo, we're going Mavericks to be ahead after the first quarter." I'm like, "Cool." I'm on the plane. I get a text. "You're up $1,300. $2,600 now. You're up $2,300. Another $1,300. I'm like, "Okay, wow. That's crazy." He's like, "I'm doing the over on points for the Mavericks game by halftime," meaning you have to pass a certain amount of points by halftime. While he is sending me all of this, I am messaging my roommate from college because I don't understand what the fuck he is sending me. Because he's sending me like little white like receipts that say like plus 6.5, minus 110 PLB basketball quarter. It's literally foreign to me. I don't understand a fucking word of it. And so I'm trying to decipher. By the time I figure out what we are betting on, what my money is being used for, he messages me, "We won." Now we keep betting. By the time the plane lands, I get a text and I see a screenshot of all the different gambles. He turned the $6,000 into $12,000 before my plane fucking landed. Boys, it's a 45-minute flight. Now this is where I might have gotten scammed. Because what happened next was he sends me a message. He goes, "Dude, bad news." I'm like, "No. What happened? Did we lose it all?" He's like, "No. But right after you left, there was a giant sandstorm in Las Vegas and all of the sports gambling is closed." I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, unfortunately, I can't make any more bets. Unless you happen to send me some Bitcoin." Chad, I sent him $10,000 in Bitcoin 90 minutes ago and I haven't heard from him. Should I call him right now? Should I call him right now to see how we're doing? Let me call him and see. Let me just call him and see. Hold up, he's answering. I'm telling him I'm going to call him. I don't want to say his name because obviously the story could be a bit disparaging. Like a casino could get mad at him. Okay. All right, let's do it. I'm calling him, chat. I'm gonna fucking call him. Fuck it. Fuck it.
Yeah, good.
Hello.
How are you?
Are you in a wind tunnel?
I am currently getting food from the food court.
Okay. Mr. Gambler Man.
What's up?
What? Okay, everyone in my chat is telling me I got scammed.
Okay. All right.
What bets have you made over the past hour?
Past hour. All right. So we have the Dodgers minus 3.5. They're up 5-1 right now in the bottom of the 8th. We have
For how much money?
so that one was to win 1,000. So we bet $1,250 to win 1,000. And then the other ones is the let me see real quick here. I'm pulling it up, and I can send you a screenshot too if you'd like. The other one is the game that's going on right now, the Heat game. We got the over 48.5 points for the third quarter.
Miami.
Yes. Am I good?
Yeah.
All right, cool. No, sorry, I was talking to them. Yeah, so we have over 48.5 points. So they didn't score the first, I would say, minute and a half of the first or of the third quarter. So the point spread went down to 48.5 points, and I immediately caught it. And so now it's at 55.5 right now for the third quarter. So I mean, we're guaranteed 7 points. So I mean, it's a win. So altogether, right now you're up $3K on the Bitcoin side, and then we're just waiting. And your friends are actually they were sitting right next to me.
Wait, how much money are we at?
All right, so we're at 13K right now with 2K pending on the Bitcoin side, and then right now, currently with the tickets for the William Hill, even though we haven't cashed it yet, we're at 11K.
Wait, how much are we up?
Altogether, we're around 9,000. But after these games end, and once we are able to cash out the regular tickets, you'll be up around 18,000.
Can I just give you my bank account login?
No, I want you to earn my trust fairly. So I want you to see this and receive your money first before we go any further.
Okay, can you admit that I'm actually kind of a good gambler on par with you?
You know what? Other than the fact that you went crazy
Don't have to bring
on
it.
blackjack.
Don't have to. No, you don't got to bring. We kind of glaze over the blackjack. You don't really got to bring that up. It's not really a big deal. We just kind of glaze over. It wasn't a big deal. We didn't lose that much. It was fine.
Okay. You know, 40K isn't that much. But other than that, yeah, I mean, I would say you're a pretty good gambler.
Yeah.
You listen. That's the thing. You listen, and you know when to if it's not your place.
Yeah, I was like a fucking sim, and you were controlling me, and you just click on me, and then you would click the number, and I would just do it.
Well, yeah, but that's the thing, man. You would have been up so much freaking money if you just didn't, go ahead.
Okay, all right. Well, a little bit of details there. That's all we need for now. Anyway, thank you so much. Keep me updated.
Hey, yeah, no, I got you, and I'll send you a screenshot right now, so that way, I mean, if you want to show your chat or anything like that.
Can I show them it? I didn't want to show them it because I thought they would steal my money.
Let me blur out the account number, and then yeah.
All right, cool.
All right, sounds good.
All right, man. Peace.
All right, talk to you later. Bye.
I think that guy's legit. My takeaway from this is that I feel like I should never gamble ever again, and all I should do is call this guy and do everything he says. And I feel like it's stupid. Like, I thought I was smarter than the average human at gambling, and now I think I am dumber than I think I am the average human, and I think I was tricked into thinking that I knew what I was doing because I knew how to do a couple blackjack hands. How is that possible? Well, anyway, that's where we end now, chat. I don't think I got scammed. Funny enough, I think I didn't get scammed, and I think Mr. Gambler Man is actually quite the god. So we'll see. We'll see. Part of me just wants this. You know what the problem is? He does this thing. I think this is where my brain works wrong. Because he does this thing where if he has like $10,000, he'll bet $1,000, and then if he wins it, he'll win a bit of money. But if he loses it, he'll lose a bit of money. But I think to myself, like, well, if you think you're going to win anyway, you might as well gamble all the money you have, because then you'll just win way more money way quicker. But then the problem, I guess, is if you lose it, you lose all your money. And that's where my brain goes bad. Like, if the count is good and you're supposed to win the hand, why not just put all your money in? Then you win more money. And I guess the reason is because then you risk a lot of money. Anyway, I don't, maybe like 30 people in chat understood what the fuck he was telling me on what bets he was making, because I didn't understand a lick of it. But hopefully they were sound. They made sense to me. And that's all I got, boys. I got to head out. Just want to do that little story. Hopefully it was entertaining. By the way, if I come off like an absolutely jaded, rich, pompous douchebag, I apologize. I do understand that these are giant swaths of money that are people's annual salary and aren't supposed to be talked about so lightly, but I thought it was interesting enough. And hopefully the entertainment of the story counteracts perhaps that feeling. I got to go call my mom, fellas. Make sure to call your mothers. Or go hang out with them if you haven't, if you live with them. Or if they're not around, maybe just think about them, because that's always a good thing to do, you know. And thanks for watching. Thanks for watching. I'm going to be live very early tomorrow, probably around like, I would guess like maybe 10 a.m. And I think really all I want to do is a Reddit review. And I also just, if you guys saw, somebody finally beat, I forget his name. It's something with a B. Somebody finally beat Super Mario 64 blindfolded. 120 star. It took 11 hours. Boobzia. Or Bubzia. No Fortnite Monday tomorrow, no. I didn't have time to set it up with the bachelor party. So anyway, I want to go over that run because I think it's interesting. And I haven't seen it. And I think beating Super Mario 64 blindfolded might be one of the greatest gaming achievements I've seen in a minute. Hey, Ludwig, if you remember me, it's the guy from the lobby at the Venetian. It was my friend and I fangirling over you in suits, and I want to say thanks again for the pick. Bailey, thanks for $10. Nice to meet you, man. A lot of Ludbuds came up to me and were very nice. Actually, for some reason, everyone who came up to me in Vegas was the most excited to see me anyone's been to see me. It was actually very cute. Two guys came up, and I think it actually might have been you, Bailey. You guys asked for a picture. You guys were very nervous but excited, and then you walked away. They were drunk? No, I think they were 18 because they were there for prom. They probably just live in Vegas. But then when I walked away, they went, dude, we just met Ludwig. And I thought that was really cute. Anyway, I'm going to upload a Fortnite Monday video on YouTube if you guys want to see it.